Welcome back to What's on My Needles, and this is part 2 of working on Spike the Hedgehog. So this is a finished one, and last episode I showed how I do the back and the tummy. But as my kid keeps saying, where's his head? Well, his head will be going right where those funny pink stitches are in this case. When I'm making these in mass, it's whatever yarn is next to me is that little line. Those stitches are going to get picked out, and I'm going to be distributing them onto double pointed needles. If you would actually like a copy of this pattern, I do have the option to make it available, so please leave a comment below if you would like me to do that. So let me get situated and get the first couple rows done so that I can show you the slightly more interesting parts. And I will be right back. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to these social media platforms. Links will be provided in the description below. So I went ahead and took out the line that was at the hedgehog's neck, and I've done 5 rows of stitching. So I've not woven in all the ends yet. That will actually be right after this row, or round, sorry. But this is the round where we start having fun stuff other than just knit and purls. So when I was separating out the stitches, I put 5 on the 2 short ones, 10 on the one from his back, and there's actually 11 on the one from his belly. 9 were live stitches, and then 2 were picked up from the sides, and those are 2 of the slightly larger holes that will be getting closed up when I weave in all the ends. So the first thing is an SSK. So left leaning decrease, and it's just that simple for me. And I have an even smaller crochet hook than last time, and I've got 2 4mm pony beads on here. So let's see if I can separate them out. So 2 little beads. I go ahead and start with them both on there just so I know I have them. So I'm going to take the stitch off, pull the bead on, and then put the stitch back on my needle, and then knit the stitch. Now in my patterns, that's a place bead or PB. For other patterns, it might be a little different, so always read your pattern. If you are making stuff up on your own, well, you don't have a pattern to go off of, but stay consistent with what you're doing just so it's easier for you to keep track of. So I've placed the second bead, and then I'm knitting on top. Now I do it that way so that I don't have to worry about a stitch that is super duper tight. So one where the bead is right underneath the live stitch. So this way it's kind of squished down. It's not stretching any stitches. It's just there. And I'm going to go ahead and get to the next decrease so I can slow those down a little bit. So again, SSK is the right stitches on top of the left stitch. So you might have to rearrange your stitches so that happens. That is just like that. And then I will go ahead and work almost all the way across this needle. The reason I separate out the stitches like this is so that I don't have to count all the time. And then this is a knit 2 together. If your stitches lay normally, all you will literally have to do is that. As you saw, I had to rearrange. But that is the rest of the skills that are needed to do his little head. At the end of the head, I will be affixing a bead, and I will be stuffing once I get all of the ends woven in, which will be about now. So I will be back in a little bit to show what to do with these little pearl pads, because he does have 4 little feet and 2 little ears, and as you may have seen, there are 6 little pearl pads all over the hedgehog. So I will be back in a little bit with a mostly complete hedgehog to show you how the pickups go there. If you would like to help fund this page, please find me on Patreon at Theatrical Crafts. So here is the little hedgehog after his head is done. The nose is actually sewn on with the grafting from the edge of the head. So now it's time to pick up the stitches here and here for the ears, and then I will actually be repeating it for his little feet as well. If you look, there are 6 purl stitches right here. I'm going to go in the up bump on the lower group of stitches. I'm going to do that across all 3 stitches. And then I'm going to flip it over, so it's going to be the up bumps again, but it's going to look like the down bumps just because I've turned the whole project around. This would probably be easier using a crochet hook, but this is how I've learned to do it, and it's not all that many times per project. So there are my little 6 stitches, but his ears aren't only 6 stitches, they're actually 10. So I'm going to lower him down a little bit so it's a bit easier for me to work. So I'm going to knit the first stitch, and then I'm going to go into the down bump and pick up a stitch through that one, knit the center stitch, and then again go through that down bump and pick up the stitch. And essentially do the same thing on the other side, except I can't get to those other bumps. But I am going to be picking up the bar in between the first and second stitch, and then the second and third stitch. And that's how I will get to 10 stitches. So then I'm going to knit a couple rows or rounds, and then decrease those stitches again using SSK and knit 2 together, and then I'm going to graft the end together. And that's just how I make all my feet and all my ears, everything that roughly is this shape. So again, if you would like to get one of these little guys, a link will be provided below. If you think that you would like to try to make your own, please let me know. And who knows, maybe the pattern will show up soon on Etsy and or on Ravelry. And I hope to see you next time on What's on My Needles. And next time we'll be working on something else that's nice and cute. Bye! This video was sponsored by Sam Cardenas, my stylist at Color Street. To find a link to my party through her, please check the description below.